Hello and a warm welcome to the Macau Grand Prix as we get ready for practice for the Sun City Group Macau gear race. And there's a lot at stake in this particular race, which of course is run over 2 legs over the weekend as we look across a rather hazy, as you can see, air temperature 24 degrees, track 28, it's going up, and humidity, well, 77%. It's muggy, it's the best way you can describe it. And over in the distance, more construction goes on here at this famous Macau City. I think that's the connection to where the bridge that connects Hong Kong and Macau will come in, almost finished. And all eyes on the man of the moment from Portugal, Tiago Monteiro, who of course has been racing in the World Touring cars and is tickle-pink to be leading the way after the first practice, because I don't think even he expected, he and his teammate with Honda, Gianni Morbidelli, to be as up to speed as quickly. He's raced here before in World Touring cars, but took a guest position with West Coast Racing for Macau, and of course being Portuguese, known as a specialist here at Macau. Stefano Comini of Switzerland leads the way in terms of the pursuit of the championship against James Nash, and Jean-Carl Vernet will try to help him out, the Frenchman. And a lot at stake because we've got several different battles going on throughout. Not only is there the battle for the TCR title, we've got the local entries as well. And the likes of Kevin C. racing for TCR Asia. That title has already been won by, of course, Andy Yan, I should say. Brilliantly done in the Liqui Moly team. Dominated the year here in Asia and actually did a very, very good job in this international field of touring car specialists yesterday for the gear race by finishing practice in the top 10. In fact, Andy Yan was 9th quickest in the Volkswagen Golf as we take a look at Borkovic. Invest in Serbia, why not? And again, Alan, as we've mentioned before, Alan Hyde, Jonathan Green, bringing you the commentary. Beautifully prepared, all the cars here in the gear race.
They look superb, don't they? Absolutely superb.
There's the championship for TCR International. James Nash leading the way, the Brit, by 17 points. So it's still doable for Comini and Oriola and Jean-Carl Vernet. But that's where it is. It's a 4-way battle. And certainly, even if you're Jean-Carl Vernet, you want to see if you can keep it tight. And everybody wants the runner-up spot. But I don't think anybody's going to stop Nash. That said, James Nash is carrying the most ballast in that pursuit.
Yeah, that's a bit of a mountain, isn't it, to carry on board this weekend. So that just throws an extra variable into the conclusion here at the gear circuit.
Gianni Morbidelli. Do you remember when he was an Arrows Formula One driver?
I do, very well, yeah.
Mikhail Grachiev of Russia in the Honda Civic. And of course, the beauty of this form of racing is, and I've said it before, these are the cars that you see on the streets of Macau in the distance. In fact, those cars that you see in the distance there, a lot of them are on Honda Civics or Seats or whatever. And the world over, TCR has been a huge success because it's affordable and fast racing. But as you can see when you look inside the cockpit, there's all the techno gizmos and ECU preparations for the likes of Matej Homola that make this such an interesting form. And look at how they do the rear wing. I love that. The adjustment looks so simple. It's pretty easy to work out how to change the car. Homola, good season for him. And they've raced all around the world and certainly all over Asia, even the international drivers on the undercard of Formula One in both Malaysia and Singapore. David Kajaya, I remember he was involved with fellow Liqui Moly driver at turn 4 at Malaysia. Not able to finish that race, but enjoying the prospect of racing here for Team Ensler, who have a massive record here. And the big boys of Ensler here in town as we go on board. That's the view of the photographers waiting for the ultimate shot. And it's great. We'll leave the pits with one of the Seats with a half-hour session coming your way. This is the pit exit here at Macau, and this gives you a really good view of what it's like in the paddock in preparation. Temperatures cooler than they were yesterday. Montiero complaining that perhaps the car's a bit nervous. Track not rubbered in as much as he would like, but I think that's just Macau really. And the problem is, because they open the circuit up at night, you really don't know what kind of conditions you're going to face the next morning. Yes, like any circuit, the more rubber you lay on it, especially on the racing line and the particular parts of the track. There's the one Ford in the competition as we see the Leopard car, certainly one of the favorites here, the VW of the Swiss driver, the character that is Comini.
He's a huge character.
Oh, he's brilliant. Love him.
Absolutely fantastic.
I didn't know him last year. I had not met him. I watched him race and commentated on a lot of his races and seen his celebration. But it was really funny. He kind of did what he does, which it was at the end of the evening at this sort of prize giving order, and he muscled into the bar and kind of pushed his way through. Kind of looked at me and I said, congratulations on the. I know it. He said, I know your voice, and he gave me this biggest bear hug, lifted me off the ground, and said, drink. So that was that.
Oh, very good.
That was it. That was how me and Stefano bonded.
Quite an entertainer. He really is quite a character, and he's got that rather enviable position of being front of the queue as well. So clear track in front, heat into the tyres.
Well, I said it in the GT practice, the one thing about finishing champion with the #1 plate is that you get the prime position in the pits, and that allows you to line up in the paddock and be first out.
See just how tight it is coming out of the Macau hairpin, and see how much you do have to be very careful. Although there's no overtaking at the Macau hairpin, it can catch you out. In some cars, it's quite a turn to get it round and avoid that barrier on the outside of the corner.
So first flying lap then in our practice here for the gear race. And it looks as though the teams will work together. There's the Seats line astern, 54. Through goes James Nash. Team manager watching from the sidelines as they work together. Pepe Oriola, the Spaniard. Such an exciting prospect to watch him tuck himself up behind Nash, who is, of course, carrying the bigger ballast. And will they work together and trying to slingshot each other down this part of the circuit as we go on board? With James Nash through Mandarin, my favorite corner, without a doubt. It's certainly in the gear race, and over the years since it all began in 1972, that's right. Old and Oriola, that's interesting. Oriola making an interesting overtake around the outside on his own teammate Nash. Now, I don't know what he's trying to say to himself, but there's probably a good point to it, which is that Nash will be slower given the ballast.
Yeah.
Now, something's gone wrong because that is not normal smoke.
Yeah, quite a puff of smoke there.
Something's happened there.
And you make a good point, because Pepe Oriola could potentially be an advantage being in front, but it just looked all a bit vague, didn't it, going into that corner around the outside at Lisboa. Jaime Preach from the camp as they thread their way up for the first time. This will be the first of the flying laps.
You know, that's somebody stopped. 85. And that is in a position at which you do not want to stop. Session stopped immediately, quite right. That's at the exit of Fisherman's. You do not want to be stopped there. I'm trying to see if that's 65 or 55.
65, I think. Douglas Koo.
I was with Douglas last night. Yeah, hanging out, talking about this race and the excitement of being part of it. And for someone like Douglas, you know, this really is a thrill of a lifetime, because this is as high as they, you know, to race in an international field of this strength of touring cars. For any of the guys who don't regularly race on the world scene, like Montero or Morbidelli or Comini, you know, to get a chance to race in exactly the same circumstances as the big boys is huge.
And the prestige of being a winner of the gear race here at Macau is tremendous, absolutely tremendous. There's the stricken car in possibly one of the worst places on the circuit to be stuck. So they might have just started to get a little bit of heat into the tyres, and they've got not all of that to do again, but a fair amount of it to do again.
Yeah, and really nothing really has taken place yet in this session. We've red flagged it early on with still 23 minutes to go. The clock's still ticking. But it does give us a chance to, if you've just tuned in around the world, and we welcome our viewers who are taking our feed live streaming. This is the gear race, predominantly TCR car, spec cars, fighting for both the international and Asia championships. And of course, Andy Jan's already won TCR Asia. Handed out the prizes to him yesterday. He was resplendently dressed, as he should be. Good looking fella. But he's put on a hell of a show, and it was great that Franz Ensler, the team boss, was there as well. And Kurt Tremmel, of course, who leads the team. As we take a look at the Honda Civic of Gianni Morbidelli. Loves racing here. I'm sure he got sick of fellow Italians telling him all about the glories of Macau, and people like Tarquini making the headlines in the Alphas over the years. There's Douglas Koo. And look at that clever dolly.
It's very, very impressive
system. Very, very smart.
So efficient. What a good system. Every year is a development, isn't it? How quickly they can recover cars, and that's a place where a crane is not possible. So pop it on the dollies, push it out the way, and we can get the session back underway very, very quickly. Very impressive how the recovery takes place here at Macau.
Well, while we've got a pause in the action, I just want to remind you, we've had one practice. Thiago Montara was the fastest in first practice, the Portuguese driver, racing for West Coast Racing. As we said, he's a regular in the World Touring cars. Of course, we've been here many times before. He raced in that, and there's a bit of damage. That's Sergei Afanasiev, the Russian entry and stalwart of this series internationally. Several Russians involved, but he scraped the wall nastily, hasn't he?
Yeah, the bodywork and the rim and the tyre are damaged. I just wonder if maybe it didn't go any deeper than that, and a replacement wheel and maybe a slightly tatty looking left-hand side might be the worst that's happened to that car. Let's keep our fingers crossed that car can get back out.
And Georges Tajaya also changing tyres. And going back to yesterday again, Edgar Lau, another one who hit the barriers at the exit of Police, bounced back onto the track, half blocking the circuit. And Rafael Galliana, the Frenchman, damaged the front of his Seat Leon after braking too late at the same corner in the practice yesterday. Terence C also had problems at the Solitude S's and was briefly sideways, causing a bit of a traffic jam. And we're on board with Thiago. Good character, Montero. I don't know if you've ever had an audience with him, but he's a super guy.
No, I've not.
I've known him since he was a kid coming here, because he would come here in Formula 3, and of course, being Portuguese, it adds, you know, there's a special, even added kind of.
It's good you mentioned that, because he was very proud yesterday. I saw a tweet last night going through all the Macau tweets. He was very proud that fellow Portuguese, Antonio Felix da Costa, had been top of the times in Formula 3 as well.
They stick together.
Yeah, I think he said my brother. So that was lovely to see last night. Yeah.
Yeah, the Portuguese racing community is a tight-knit community, no question about it. Spent a lot of time in Portugal doing bike racing, and of course the history that is Portugal in their motorsport, which is carried in part here over the 63-year history of it, and it was much organized and helped by the Portuguese Automobile Association in terms of how to put on a motor race back in the day. There's the FRD local Ford. Always looks so good. I love the color scheme. You know it's a Ford, but it's not had the luck yet. We are back to practice, and there are 19 minutes left, and still several cars trying to get out onto track and make their way, including the Ford. Now, in terms of the BOP, few adjustments. The Alfa Romeo, minus 20 kilos adjusted. The Honda Civic, plus 30 kilos. Seat Leon, plus 30. And the Subaru STI, minus 20. First real look at the Frenchman, Jean-Carl Vernet, and we were mentioning the Bentleys earlier. I remember when he was one of the first proponents of the Bentley here in Asia, and he was scything his way through traffic at every track he went to, including here at Macau. So he's another man who enjoys it. What's happened at Lisboa? Somebody's gone sideways. You almost feel like you need some Tchaikovsky music to that, don't you? Bit of Swan Lake would work. Up San Francisco Hill. Now's the time, with 17 minutes to go, to start putting in some quick times and try to create some clean space, and that's what the number 2 has done. As we go on board, in terms of his time anyway, which you can see in the bottom left of your screen, this is his first sector time, which will come in a moment, and we'll stop.
I'll tell you what, the VW Golf that we were just looking at, back with it now, makes a great looking touring car.
It does, doesn't it?
Makes a great looking world rally car. It makes a great looking touring car.
No, I couldn't agree more, yeah.
Looks superb.
So, Vernet getting a 27.3 in the first sector, and as he heads down to complete the second sector, we'll clock in there. He's currently second overall to Comini. More repairs going on to Grachev. So whatever he did, notice how badly the damage was, but clearly worse than we thought. Andy Yan goes third quickest with that lap. Good lap by him. But really, none of the times yet going to give us any indication of where we are.
It's a busy lap as well, isn't it? Just see that queue coming down from Melco. It's not going to be the work of a moment. But yeah,
God, there's some traffic out there today.
Yeah, there really is. So,
and you can see Vernay's lap caught in that traffic and not aborted, but certainly not worth taking any substance out of.
Pepe Orellana really wants to push on, doesn't he? Gets to the front of the queue. That's a good move. That's a good move for Pepe. Look at the clear track in front.
Yeah, that was good. Now, line astern, Comini right behind VERNAY, and I think obviously this is tactics too, because Jean-Carl VERNAY might be fourth of the championship, but he wants to see if he can help Comini, who is only 17 points off the leader as we go on board. Through the mighty Mandarin corner. The hotel now, of course, the Grand Lapa. Past the Landmark Hotel and down towards the Lisboa Hotel. This track defined so much by the hotels dotted along the roads and the sidelines, and it's amazing every morning waking up here, and if you're on time, you can see the safety car. If you're late, oh dear, you can see the cars going round, and you should be somewhere where you should be.
Stop it.
Oh! And out of trouble at hospital. One of the cars getting completely sideways and also, therefore, creating its own traffic jam. That's the 27 of William O'Brien getting it wrong. Here he is. Bill O'Brien, the amazing character, fighting for TCR Asia runner-up spot, I may add. We were at the prize giving yesterday and had a picture to say, well, we don't know who's going to win this trophy, which then a fight ensued as to who was going to take the trophy.
A war of words.
And Bill's bigger than anybody
Okay.
that you've ever seen in a racing car.
Well,
look at this traffic.
It really hasn't helped this lap, has it? Because they're all
they
just
need to
going
sort
around
themselves
in a train.
Because, yeah, now Bill's in the middle of this sandwich, and they really want by him, and they're letting the Seat get away. And they really, and he can't overtake after this corner. And can they do it here? No. So, Bill's being a human bollard at the moment. But, hey, it's all part of racing here at Macau. You knew when you saw the entry list that there would be situations like this where you're going to have faster and slower cars all involved, and that's all part of the magic of the gear race here.
Yeah, they're not doing themselves any favours here. Maybe they can organise themselves for the start of the next lap, but at the moment this is not good.
So
finally,
they found a spot to get past him, and now we've got the three of them. Nash with the bullet holes there in the glass there. Actually, I think it's stones, but
I think it might be.
Right, they are sorting themselves out now. We should start to see some decent laps. Morbidelli's just gone quickest with the 2:35.4 on his third lap. Pepe Oriola is second quickest. James Nash is third. Homola, fourth. Borkovic is in fifth place at the moment. Tiago Montero in the pits at the moment. Hope there's no problem. Doesn't look as though there's any urgency, so no need to read too much into the fact that he's in the pits with 12 minutes to go. He'll get another run at this.
He just did the outlap as far as I can see. So he's currently languishing down there in 30th place, but that's not representative, not a representative time.
Oriola then. Very wide.
That looked too wide.
That was too wide, and he's lost a lot of time there. You lose a lot of drive when that happens as well, because you outbrake yourself. You may be able to turn the corner, but by that you've lost all the impetus. And as you accelerate away, you've lost all the drive there, because really going into Lisboa, you want to keep a smooth arc through there so that you stay on the power, because it's still quite a slow section.
And it's critical to set yourself up for the all-important second sector up through the mountain section.
Well, exactly, yeah. And in fact, you're right, absolutely right. That can change the whole lap if you get Lisboa wrong, even if you don't touch the wall or anything. Even if you're right, that can actually ruin, because that hill is much
momentum up the hill is, so you need flow going into the middle sector.
What, flow that sells the progressive? No, not that flow.
Not that flow.
Sorry.
New time on top.
Yes, and Borkovic goes quickest, 2:34.7. We're just looking at yesterday's times. Monteiro did a 2:34.6. So we're getting very close to that. And Dusan Borkovic in the number 62, just a smidgen off that. And he's just done his personal fastest first sector as well on the next lap. So we're starting to see some times, and at Fisherman's again. And it's the one that got away. Damage to, not sure which car that was, but to the rear end of that car.
It's that Wong Yak Sing sunny, I think.
Easy for you to say.
I think it was. I think it was the Citroen.
Sonny Wong. As we take a look at the number 50 files. He had a good day yesterday. Currently in 11th place.
Just saw Josh Files there, former Renault UK Clio Cup champion. Good to see Josh racing over here. James Nash, of course, who started his racing in the UK as well, in the BCCC.
Let's see if Nash can improve from 6th place. He crosses the line, past our commentary position. He does not improve, and in fact he loses out a spot because he's dropped down to 7th as the man behind him is Jean-Claude Vernet, the Frenchman, moving up to 6th place there with a 2:36.4.
This is about the sort of region that we saw James Nash in yesterday, wasn't it? And just to remind people, he's carrying weight on board this weekend and currently down there in 7th place.
But is trying to win a championship.
Yeah, so with that points advantage going into this weekend.
He's only 17th.
Coupled with the weight as well, we shall see how the weekend pans out here in Macau.
Matej Homela does a good lap, 2:34.9. There's quite a difference. If you think about the current champion, Stefano Comini, 2:37.3 is all he's mustered so far, compared to 2:34.7 by the leading group of two,
this time,
Borkovic and Homela.
And this time, Johnny, Pepe Oriola has gone purple in the first sector. So clearly got Lisboa correct this time round, and he's gone purple first sector. Keen to see what the second sector is going to be, the long middle sector. Still repairs going on down there.
Yeah, this is bad news for Afanasiev because he would definitely have been one of the contenders in this practice. I mean, it is only practice, so there's no need for too many histrionics and panicking because, but vital time, track time is the key. Yellow flags out at MP5.
Following Nash around on this lap, he's done a personal best in that first sector, 26.545, compares to the overall best of Pepe Oriola, 26.271.
Yeah, that's impressive by the Spaniard. Now, there is something going on with Montiero, Montiero, because they don't really want him to be... They're making a lot of adjustments there, so now we start seeing the line astern here coming down the hill as they work together. The two Volkswagens right behind Nash. And interestingly enough, we're pairing up now in the teams.
And Pepe Oriola has gone purple second sector as well. Purple first, purple second, and just about to finish the lap.
And
here
Nash
he comes.
Pulls away to allow him to complete the lap. And that was smart move by the Seat boys. And here he comes to cross the line. This will put Pepe where he needs to be. And he does go quickest, a 2:34.2, and that was good teamwork. And now we'll see the Volkswagens do the same. Look at this. And it's come dancing here at Macau as they join together and dance their way across the bumps through Mandarin. VERNAY leading. Comini. And in a moment you'll see Stefano maybe pop out. There he goes, he looks to the inside and he can't do it. But they'll try to work together. Trouble is they've got Pepe in front of them and he's in no mood to budge, especially in the mountain section. More work being done to Thiago Monteiro's car. The man who was hero yesterday finally getting out with 6 minutes to go. He's got time to put a lap in, but where will he end up?
Pepe Oriola absolutely flying, 26.202 now. So he's gone purple on the first sector once again. He didn't go purple on all three. He went purple on the top two and then a personal best on the final.
And they've got rid of that traffic. And that's all you've got to worry about, because you're coming through blind corner after blind corner and you're almost fingers crossed saying, please don't bathe any traffic. You're watching for the flags. You're literally, you're driving peripherally at this point because you're looking, you know the track, you can do it in your sleep, but you're looking at the lights, you're looking at the marshalman, and you're seeing if there's anything ahead of you. Down towards police. The Volkswagens chasing the Seat. Back with another Seat. This of Borkovic, the man who's set a brilliant time of 2:34.7 and certainly put the cat amongst the pigeons as he goes very, very high and wide through Mandarin.
Fourth quickest is Gianni Morbidelli, and he has just gone purple in the middle sector. So the long second sector, the all-important one, 1:35.063. Pepe Oriola is following him through, so we'll see if Pepe is able to better that. 1:35.063, middle sector, target time. Morbidelli goes top, 2:33.495.
Great lap from the Italian at 2:33.4. Look at that, almost a second quicker as the times start dropping here at Macau. If you're just tuning in around the world, welcome, because we've had Tin Street Try. Tintin has gone to Macau and blown it at the Lisboa and caused a traffic jam. But he's got it going again. It's been an up and down season for the Thai driver. A lot of mechanical gremlins. That one, not one of them. That was definitely human error. And he's left some debris down as well.
One of the lovely things about commentating at Macau is that you never have to talk about track limits, because I think we just found them.
Yes. Yeah, Charlie Whiting doesn't have to come down with a... Well, he's here, by the way.
I was going to say, he comes year after year, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. Which is fantastic.
Also saw Barry Bland this morning. Great to see him here. A man who is, over the years, been massively responsible for the success of this event. And it was good to see Barry here this weekend. A lot of old faces. And another stoppage. This time it's Kevin C, the number 28, insensibly. And he's a man fighting for the runner-up spot in TCR Asia, and he will not be happy with damaging that car in this practice for sure. Tin Street Try, by the way, 14th at the moment. And the very exciting young Thai driver who's put on a display around Asia. And in fact, even in some of the international races, he's been a factor, a top 10 finisher in some of the international races. So hats off to Tin and his team for doing a good job this year. Still very impressed. A top 10 at the moment for Andy Yan of Hong Kong. Wouldn't that be a story? I remember when Charles Kwan entered this race all those years ago. We wondered how a local guy would get on against the world's best. Well, Charles didn't hang about, and he was soon spotted as being potential, and before very long he was in the factory BMW team as a third entry with Schnitzer. And Charles, one of the greats of the gear race over the years.
James Nash has got himself up into 5th position with a 2:34.285. We've been riding on board with James on this lap. Let's see if he can get himself a little higher than 5th position. That's good work. That's as high up as we've seen him so far with that weight on.
It's great on board. You can really hear the engines. You can hear that gearbox changing. It's seamless. And then the screech of the brakes.
Every whistle, every pop you can hear.
Nicely done through Fisherman's. And that's a graphic illustration as the battle goes on with just 2 minutes to go.
It's been a clear lap for James Nash.
Yeah, let's see what he comes out with now. He's currently 5th. Does he improve? He stays 5th.
With a 2:42.872, significantly slower than his fastest lap for 5th place, 2:34.285.
Well, Morbidelli's trying to go even quicker than he's already gone. He's just gone his fastest first sector as bang. That was Douglas Koo. Excuse me, that was C. Kevin C hitting the wall. And much like Lando Norris in Formula 3, a similar accident befell him. Quick wave. Now, back to the Battle Royal. Stefano Comini. Very nice and tight through Lisboa. Good drive. That's the way to do it. Up San Francisco. Not too tight there. And on the power. 3rd gear up here. 4th gear clicking through as you hit the crest. Possibly 5th, but then back down. Under braking now to 2nd gear. And he got that a little bit squirrely, but he'll take it. And then drift through this section here. Then hard on the power on the exit of Maternity to hit the Solitude S's. And from there on in, it's a wall of fun. It's just like a video game. but a critical sector past Teddy Yip has. And down, far away hill. A dab on the brakes and into one of the crucial corners, this left-hander that's caught out so many people before the long run down to Police, and then Police has been, so far this weekend, the toughest corner of all. It's caught more people out in more different categories than any other corner, I'd say.
Yesterday, far more than today, actually. Yesterday it proved to be a real problem. Today, not so much. We've had a good day, haven't we?
Yeah, in terms of clean running, yeah, so far. We'll jinx it now as Tin Street Drive behind Morbidelli here. Morbidelli under braking, and it's great to see them working the wheel too. Morbidelli nice and smooth, having to fight it all the same. And his second sector wasn't as impressive. And he stays quickest, but does not improve on his time. In fact, that was a slow lap for him. COMINI, what's he can do? As I don't think he's pulling up any trees, but he's third quickest at the moment, so he has improved. Mark James waiting to pounce in the pits. So both the Seats are coming in, both the VWs are coming in, having just set third and fourth fastest times. NASH stays fifth. Here's another look at a little throw into the barriers, a little touch, a little nudge for the 27. And Tiago Montero is in again, and this is a very different story from yesterday, as Montero is nowhere.
He's only done 6 laps in total.
They've got some problems.
And finishes up in 30th position.
So the checkered flag is out, and West Coast Racing have gone south, east and not west, sadly.
Yeah, great
Go west, young man.
After yesterday topping the times to today,
they've got some sort of problem.
Very problematic.
Can you work out what they're working on?
No.
The cooler? Anyway, we'll get to the bottom of that. It'll be in the press release. We'll find out. We'll get Mr. James on the case. He should be in there.
He might be able to find out for us.
He should have his hands in there, I would have said. So Morbidelli tops the time, so it's a different change at the front, but it's the same car. Pepe Oriola is second. COMINI and VERNAY ran out third and fourth for the first 2 provisional rows, but of course qualifying still to follow in the morning. And in fact, yeah, just to remind you, qualifying for the gear race, and importantly, the battle for TCR will be in the morning, 7:30 start, early morning here. I'll be probably just having my morning swim. I'll catch you up for sure, around about 9, if that's all right, Al.
7:30.
Yeah, I don't want to, disrupt my routine.
There was a time.
7:30.
There was a time when the gear race had Saturday off, wasn't there?
Yeah, you know, and it was funny because over the last few years they've had that early morning qualifying.
Yeah.
And yeah, the glamour boys like Tom Coronel, and I know you're listening, Tom. So they would not happy about that 7:30 qualifying.
No, not so nice.
It's all right for Tom. Now let's find out with Mark James what's gone on with Tiago Montero. He's gone from hero to zero.
Tiago, much better yesterday for you. What's happened today?
Well, I haven't done a lap. As soon as we went out on the track, I felt some strange noise on the engine. And we have something turbo related. The turbo pipe is coming off for some reason. And of course, then the problem is that you have grease and everything, so it's very difficult to repair here. So every time we went out with a new belt, but you know, greasy and everything, it's always coming out. So out in, out in, out in. It's very frustrating, of course, because not only we didn't run, but I didn't get a feeling for the car either, or the track, because the laps were very slow and I'm maximum 100 k's an hour. So no, it's a waste session for me. Never very good here, because obviously everybody else improves his feeling and his confidence, and I'm now at the back, so I'll have to push extra, I guess, tomorrow. But of course, you always have the limit. You cannot push too hard here. So it's not the ideal. We made some changes from yesterday. I wanted to feel those changes. Unfortunately, no chance.
Bad luck. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Yes. Better day.
Yeah, nice summation. Turbulent times then, quite literally, because the turbo is what's letting them down. And as he quite rightly points out, he wanted to try a few things to Thiago. They'd made a few changes, but obviously they didn't get the chance to do it. So, the Sun City Group Macau gear race, 2-litre Gianni Morbidelli tops the times with a 2:33.4. And the Honda Civic is still out on top. Pepe Oriola in the Seat is second. And then it's Comini, VERNAY, NASH, Borkovic, who topped the times earlier, Mate Homola, Josh Files, Attila Tassi, and then Andy Yan rounding out the top 10. Really impressed with Andy Yan. Can't say how impressive that is in this field. Alex Hui, Kevin C., who had his problems, down in 12th position. And a little further down, Grachev with problems, who saw him in the pits for much of it. Galliano, who had a spill yesterday. Maybe he too not yet up to speed. But the big story of the day has to be that Thiago Monteiro. So that's how it rounded off the Sun City Group Macau gear race. Practice 2. We'll be back for qualifying at the crack of Sparrow tomorrow. So the highlights of practice then, and practice 2 in the books for the gear race for 2016. Alan Hyde and Jonathan Green bringing you the practice sessions here of the 63rd running of the Macau Grand Prix. We'll take a short break. Back with more action to come from day 2.